people were admiring me. Yeah. People was talking to me. Like, I felt this feeling like, wow, how you do this, and wow, you're this. And I'm going to sleep like this, 50 people. And after 2 minutes, it was 100 people. After half an hour, it was 300, and then 600. And it's like I felt so hugged. I was basically a monk for a year, like maybe a bit more, like nothing, bro. Wow. Interesting.
Join the journey, stay for a while.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of KohPhanCast, the official podcast of Copenhagen Island. And this week with me, Benar Ido Ben Artzi. Benar is a multi-instrumental live artist. He's been dabbling in music since he knows himself. Every instrument all coming together. We sat and talked about his musical parts, about his spiritual path. We had an honest, amazing conversation about life, about humanism. I can't wait for you to hear it. Guys, for me, subscribe to the channel, like this video, share it with your friends, write me in the comments what you thought about the conversation, and let's get into it. KohPhanCast, the official podcast of Copenhagen Island. See you. In this one, should I call you Benar? Should I call you Ido?
You can call me Benar.
I will do Benar. Let's do Benar this time.
Actually, here on the island, I'm a bit confused.
Nobody calls you Ido, huh? Everybody calls you Benar.
In Israel, some people call me Ido, but also like it's my name since I'm 10 years old. All the guys, all the friends called me Benar, so yeah.
So
it's okay.
I usually start those with complimenting my guest, and you had a gig in our production, and it was beautiful, and getting to know you was a pleasure because you're such a humble guy, like humble to the fact that like sometimes I needed to remind you, bro, you're more than you think you are, like come on.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful to see that some people are still get it down a little bit, so.
A little bit up?
Down.
Down.
Yes,
okay.
We want to see your pretty face over there.
Nice.
So thank you for the presence and your vibe. We need more people like you. It's beautiful to see. And for the guys out there that doesn't know you, give me 30, 40 seconds. Benar.
So I'm Benar. My official name is Ido Ben Artzi. So Benar, it became like a kind of short of my family name. That one friend just started to call me like that when I was 10 years old. And then all my life is Benar. And like 2 years ago, when I started to release that project, to make live shows, and I started producing like 5 years ago, and 2 years ago, I started to perform with everything. So I decided to call the project Benar, and I was searching, and I found out it's also meaning like truth in Indonesian.
Oh, nice.
So it's nice.
No, it is nice.
I like the name. I'm coming from Israel. I used to live in Tel Aviv for a few years. These days, I live like more quietly a little bit in Netanya on the beach, north of Netanya. It's a bit north from the center of Tel Aviv. From the center of Israel, I mean. What else? I play music since I'm 5 years old. Started with a small flute like all the kids, but then 7 years old already my father took me to play the saxophone. And since there, like every few years I added more instruments. Actually, the saxophone, I didn't like it so much as a kid. I was like in orchestras, this kind of classical music, all this stuff. So I didn't like it so much. I was more playing football and doing cool stuff. But after that it became with the guitar. I was 13. I started to play the guitar and the electric guitar. So that was cool. I enjoyed a lot. And since there, I came back to music like more seriously after the army. I did study during all my childhood, also in institutions, also in high school, like you have this music programs. So basically all my life was around music, but I started to take it seriously after the army when I was 32 years old, more or less.
And for people that don't know, what you're doing is like you have a multi-instrumental live show which is such a cool thing these days. But when I think about doing something like that, how many different kind of paths one person need to take in order for everything to fuse and get to this level? Like, you need to play flute fluently, you need to play, you're doing like the phantom, and you have the saxophone, and you have the guitar, and you have like, you can make a whole career on each one of them. So taking them all simultaneously while playing live instrumental show that you have, the program is open. Ableton, you're probably working with. Yeah. You're working with the program, and you have all the tools, and you have like your pads, and like, that's a high level of multitasking.
Yeah, it is.
When did you decide that, fuck it, I'm going to do everything together?
Yeah. So I basically decided that maybe 2 years ago. I remember those feelings that I'm playing so many instruments. I invested in my life. Like, for a few years in my life, I was drumming for bands, like, I'm a drummer now. Yeah. For most of my life, I'm like a professional saxophone player. This is like my most comfort zone, like I all my studies I did with saxophone. Like, I studied in the universities in Israel. Like, I did 2 degrees in music. So yeah, that was basically with saxophone. So this is my main instrument. But yeah, I found myself like for hours practicing the flute, for hours practicing the phantom, the drums, the guitar since I'm a child. So like the piano, I started to take like classes with classic musical piano. And each thing like that, it's a lot of energy.
Yes.
So I'm starting like in 1 second to say, okay, you love music, you love everything, all the instruments, you feel like you can do it, but you actually invest a lot of energy, money, time, everything. So what are you going to do with all of this? I remember those feelings that I wanted so badly, like to, how to say that, like to, like my fully potential, to bring all the potential together. So so the production thing, and it's like each track, most of the time each track is I'm creating with different instruments, sometimes with 2 or 3 different instruments inside the track. And then in the show, it's becoming like, every track I'm like switching things, doing a lot of stuff. And also I have like a few games, electronic stuff, and everything is live from Ableton, yeah.
Do you remember, like, as I see it, like, knowing how to play in so many instruments is like teaching a young boy a lot of languages. Like, the earlier you start, the more capability you have in your brain to learn more. So because of this flute, when you were so little, then suddenly you have the drums and the guitar and the saxophone and this and that and the phantom, and like, it's just the way your mind works. Do you see it happening in different areas in your life other than music? Like the fact that you have this development in your brain towards instrument, did it help you doing anything else in life also?
Wow. Interesting question.
Wow. I'm gonna make you think, bro.
Yeah. So I would say absolutely yes. Like, it's not, I didn't think about it before, and it's not like I have like this specific event or a specific case that I'm thinking right now, but there is one thing I'm sure it gave me a lot. It's that this mindset of not all-in mindset. I mean, like, it's not everything or nothing. Like, I remember when I started to play the piano, I said, now you're going to be the best piano player. Probably not, but it doesn't mean you can't learn a bit and reach some point, right? So I think this mindset, like, sometimes we come in life, one person wants to play tennis and he's saying, no, I'm going to play tennis now. I'm 50 years old. Where I'm going to get with that. So I think in this kind of mentality, I got it. Like, I'm happy to try new things, not afraid.
Yeah.
Not thinking like, I need 5 years to get there.
Exactly.
No, let's be here. Let's be now. Let's have fun from this practice, from this new thing.
That's
And
exactly the comparison between like a mentality that goes like 0 to 100 and you think about the goal and the end and like, oh, it's too big for me. Of course it's too big for you because nobody has ever went 0 to 100 in one step.
yeah,
Okay, so when you go 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, you know, you have this progress mentality. Okay, I know I'm probably not going to be the best, but I'm going to be the best I can be. You know, that's what happens when you stop comparing yourself
wow,
to other people and just comparing yourself to who you were and who you're going to be. And that's a beautiful way of thinking. And
nice.
do you remember the first time you went in front of people and how that made you feel?
Wow. Yeah, it's really interesting. My first shows was in middle school, like before, how to say, like I was 10 years old maybe at school, you know. So I remember a few shows in front of my friends, in front of class, in front of like in some ceremonies in school, and also like classical music from the institute I was part in. I remember a lot of stress, a lot of stress. Yeah, I was raised like to music with this mentality of right and wrong. You know, classical music,
Yeah.
notes, you have to do the things right. It has to sound like this and not like this. And then everybody's like watching you quiet, you know, this kind of vibes. So yeah, I think that affected me a lot through my career. And yeah, until today, I feel like the healing I'm going through every time I'm on the stage, you know, it's amazing. It's amazing to see also the process, and mostly when it's with my music,
Yeah.
you know, then I take it more personally and everything is more delicate. Yeah, I must say, like I've been to so many stages in my life. Like it started when I was a child in like this classical music, and also with the orchestra. We've been touring in Europe. I was 15 years old.
Cool.
Yeah, pretty cool for a child. You know, I still didn't like so much the classical music and everything, but yeah, nice.
It's very
experience.
harsh, the classical music approach, you know, when somebody tells you in such a delicate art like music that there is something right and something wrong, and then comes the other side. I think it was Victor Wooten, the legendary bass player, that said like, I don't think it matters. There is no right or wrong. There is where it's coming from and where it's going. If where it's going makes sense, it's right. You know, that's all that matters. You know, also with tracks, when you're DJing or whatever, it's not how the track sound, it's how it's connecting to the one that was previously and the one that is going to come after, you know. So it gives a huge lesson also about life, you know. Sometimes we don't understand what's happening right now, but as long as our heart is going to the right direction and we think we're going to where we want to be, we don't need to understand everything right now in the moment, you know. It's like treating you, it's like being a painter and judging yourself before you finish the painting. Like, it's not finished yet. How can I judge myself like that?
Yeah.
And you remember times in your at the early career, we're still there, that you're like, you know what, it's too hard for me, I don't like it. Or was it always like this natural progression of things that, like, were you always united with music, or did you experience the, you know?
Interesting. So yeah, it's been like a long way with music. After this phase of classical music, I did stop with saxophone. No saxophone.
Trauma.
Of course. Half of the world will understand me. You know, I'm talking with people. Yes, who was playing clarinet when I was 9 years old. I'm like looking the guy. I'm like, oh, poor guy. You know,
this guy went through something.
Yeah. Not everyone, of course, but yeah. So some kind of trauma. Some kind of trauma. I didn't want to see the saxophone. I stopped more or less when I had 14 years old. Then I took the guitar. I started to play rock and roll, blues, punk rock, to perform. I had bands. So that was cool. I was happy with that. And after that, I went to the army when I had 18. So in the army time, I didn't play.
Yeah.
I do remember I took the guitar and the harmonica to the bass, and I was like most sensitive maybe this day.
Yeah.
I was writing like love songs.
Ballads or
Ballad songs, love songs, yeah. After that, I remember I flew to South America, like half of the Israeli people. We finish the army, we go for travel to clean our mind and our soul. And then I do remember it was like all clear. Like in South America, everything opened up again. Every instrument I could put my mouth on or my hands on, I just took and started to explore, started to play. And I was traveling with a few friends that one was drumming a bit, one was guitar a bit, singing. So we had, actually people knew us in the band. They called us the band.
That's cool as fuck.
We were doing like a lot of fun, yes. And actually since there, I remember I came back to Israel and then I thought, okay, what, I'm gonna study now some subject? No, music. It was so clear to me. And to be honest, since there, like it was, I had 23 years old. Today I have 33.
Yeah.
So 10 years ago, it was like a decision, but it was so clear and flow. And the family supported. My father also plays the trombone, and he pushed me to play music in my life. So my family supported. And yes, since there, I think it's basically flew. Because very fast I found myself making living from music.
Yeah.
From shows, mostly from events, playing the saxophone with DJs, live on DJ, on events and parties.
It's great that, sometimes the problem with people that pursue music is their family and their surroundings are like, yeah, but how are you going to make money out of it? And what about this? And what about that? And, the outer world coming inside to influence what we want, and then you can think like, oh yeah, they are right. And I don't know if starting to not trust yourself. And the fact that your family was into that on the board is probably like one big changing fact in the way like that you felt good with actually doing it and pursuing it. And you succeeding to do it so easily shows how much our own mind is the problem that holds us from doing things that we want to do. Because if you don't believe you can do something, who will get you doing it?
Yeah.
And we're going from there, and you've done you can say it was a tour in South America, you performed here, you performed there.
Yeah.
And you already like making money off of music, and then your socials are starting to get bigger. And like before we've done it, I just went around and I saw some videos, 2 million views, 3 million views. And guide me through this morning that you uploaded another video and suddenly poof, it's 3 million views. And what does it make you feel?
Amazing. So I would say at the beginning of the journey, like it was, after the army, after my travels to South America, I decided to go to study music. I started to study jazz, mostly on the guitar and on the saxophone. I focused. After that on the flute, clarinet, and some more instruments. But at the beginning of this journey, when I started to perform and take it seriously and study, my socials went bigger. There was this company of DJs in Israel named Atisuto. It's a great company for weddings, DJs for clubs, all kind of mainstream music parties and stuff. So things actually happened so fast. But there is a but. I feel like after it took me a few years, but I totally understood that I was getting farther from myself. Like, I left my truth, like my kind of music, my soul. Like I was there in those millions and millions of dollars of weddings. Amazing. All over the world. I'm flying all over the world to play on weddings with my sax.
But it feels like now it's a job.
But it felt like a job. people were admiring me. Yeah. People was talking to me, like I felt this feeling like, wow, how you do this, and wow, you're this, and I'm going to sleep like this.
Yeah.
Not really satisfying, not really happy. I'm not feel like I'm expanding myself and everything. So that's kind of interesting. That was from the wedding part. And I guess 3 years ago, something like that. Yeah, 5 years ago, it's already started and I went to this direction of producing. But 3 years ago, I got the decide to leave the company I worked with. And so these days I'm still playing on some weddings, much less. I'm making more music, like from festivals, from shows, also with my music. And the wedding part, yeah, it's like, to bring some more calmness and money home.
Of course.
But also in the weddings, I started to play with all my instruments, my 360 degrees show, like with all the instruments, mostly on receptions. And yeah, still, I'm still playing like live on DJing, but just a bit. And I'm like to this way to the heart, to the festival, my music. I'm working hard.
You remember
getting better.
You remember the first show that you've done your thing, you felt the crowd, you felt yourself, like the show that was like, okay, that's it.
Yeah, definitely. It was a year ago in Midburn festival in Israel. It's like the Israeli Burning Man.
Yeah.
So yeah, on Midburn, it was my first show with my music, 2-hour set. It was like sunset show to night vibes, like 2-hour set, and it was just amazing. It started with 50 people, and after 2 minutes it was 100 people. After half an hour it was 300, and then 600, and it's like just I felt so hugged, by good people, good energies, and everybody just told me it was the best set on this festival. It was just expanding, it's wow.
And between you and yourself, like how reassuring it to have the inner voice inside your mind that wants to hear those things, whether you think about it or not. You're a really humble guy, but all of us, we want to hear it. And suddenly the outer voice is reassuring you on the things that you do want to hear. And how does it connect inside? How does it make you feel?
Like you mean the expectations for,
like there's the connection between what you think in the depth of your heart and your brain that you want to hear from people, and suddenly you actually hear it. And this closure in your heart that is like, okay, I am where I wanted to be. This is blissful.
Wow. It's blissful. Yeah. I felt this feeling like for a few times. Each time it was different, of course, but some kind of blissful, so thankful feelings. It was so fulfilled. Yeah, I guess that's what I really want, like to touch people, to heal people, to touch them, to make them be present, to make them feel happy. And so, yeah, I actually heard, I had like the chance to hear a few times these rejections from people, like it was the best set they ever heard, or like they've been to a journey and they cried and laughed and like some stuff, like it was blow mind for me. Yeah, like wow.
That was a year ago, and when we get to the spot that we feel aligned with what we want to do and we're actually doing it, then this year you also came here. How long are you here on the island already?
I'm here for 3 months already.
3 months already. Yeah. And what do you think about this place? How does this place make you feel?
Wow. So, yeah, for the last 3 months I've been here. It's amazing journey. I really like this place a lot. I feel it has a unique way and unique opportunities that people can find out here. Not only in music. Yeah, for me it was kind of great experience that I didn't plan. I didn't expect nothing. Actually, in Israel, I came from Israel, and the past, I don't know, year in Israel, it was pretty amazing. Fears started to happen. Yeah, of course, in Israel we have right now this war and a lot of heavy feelings sometimes, but like when I think about my career, it was amazing the last year. A lot of things happened, a lot of phone calls entered, and I want you here, I want you there, let's try this, let's do this. And then also a lot of creativity and work with producers and releasing music. So it was amazing. I didn't know why I'm actually coming here. I remember this feeling that I told to myself, I'm too comfortable here in Israel. It's too comfortable. It's too predictable. Yeah, okay, it's happening, but it's I needed some challenge.
So refreshment.
So I pretty much left my apartment, left everything. I booked the flight for 3.5 months. And in 2 weeks I'm gonna go back. I wish, and I do believe I'm gonna come back here soon.
Everybody comes back.
Yeah, right.
At the end of the day,
it's just too good.
Yeah.
No, it's amazing.
Can be good. It can be good. People, you need a very, very strong spine inside of you to make it good, to make it last being good, because so easy to get influenced by people and by drugs and parties and events and this and love and bullshit and so many distractions.
Places has strong energy. You can lose yourself very easily as you can find yourself.
I describe it as like a magnifying glass, on your habits. If your habits are good, they're gonna get better. If they're bad, they're gonna get worse. It's a very extreme place that I am in love with. It is what it is. And then you've been here and you came. That's the thing that I wanted to hear from you about the retreat of Yegon of Merkaba.
Wow.
So guide me first of all before you started. How did you even approach going into this thing?
Wow. So it's also interesting because Merkaba, it's a name. Every musician, everyone that looks a little bit into electronic music know that name. So of course I know this name for a decade or maybe more. I'm not sure, but actually I never got so deep into his projects, like mainly to Kalia Sintilia. I didn't hear so much, more of Merkaba. I knew the genre, I knew the vibe, I knew it's amazing, but never been to his show live, never catch him in one of the big festivals in Europe or something. So I heard this coming, and I wasn't sure. I said, okay, but you don't know him so well. It's cost a lot of money. You're gonna come back to Israel. Maybe you can use that money and sit with the producer one by one. You know, a lot of thoughts, a lot of thoughts and reasons why not to do that. And just 3 days before the retreat started, I just decided, fuck it, let's make it. It's not a replacement for sitting with a producer or something. But I just felt it's gonna be great. It's gonna be huge. And actually it was for me. And also I saw my friends to the class. Everybody was,
enlightened,
really. And Yegon and Eve are pretty amazing. It was very, very deep week. A lot of inspiration. Like for me, I'm coming from rock and roll, and after that jazz music, classical music, punk, funk, every type of music. And in the last decade, I'm more exploring electronic music. And for me, it was like a week with him, to spend with him, to also in the spiritual level, on the psychological level. And we spoke about what every artist explore and go through on his journey and stuff like that. That was really very, very interesting, and also practical, sitting there and to see how he mix and how he do his cool stuff. And after that, it was 2 weeks ago, the retreat, and after that I had a few days couldn't stop hear his music.
Yeah.
And of course, I caught 2 live shows of him, and
We
it
were
was
blessed. Yeah. We were definitely blessed here.
so many inspiration. Like after the retreat, it's been like almost a week, and I'm not sleeping, man. I'm not sleeping at night. I'm sleeping a few hours in morning. I'm just sitting like a mouse, full of inspiration, and
It's beautiful that
yeah,
you can never know where your next inspiration is going to come from. There's something about inspiration and about, because we all went into writer's block, suddenly you
Yeah.
sit in front of a blank page of Ableton and you don't even know what to do with yourself.
yeah,
And like, suddenly someone comes and give you a new perspective and you're like, because I think we're all a part of the same thing, and we all have this way of showing one another how to think different about the same thing we're doing.
Yeah.
What kind of ways do you have to pass over like a state of, I don't know what I want to do, and I don't know where I'm going, for others, new probably musicians out there? Give
Yeah.
us some tips on how to roll over.
Yeah. So actually, honestly, I can say that I'm pretty surprised of the creativity levels I'm experiencing. Like, yeah, pretty much I feel this creativity and it's ongoing, but I do stuff every day. So I'm sure it's affecting like what I do. It's like I'm meditating every morning. I'm reading books. I'm developing my conscious that sometimes, of course, I believe, I know only on myself, but I believe every human, creativity or not creativity, or big people that they did great stuff in their life and stuff. Every type of human, I guess, we have this kind of thoughts sometimes, doubts, shadow sides of everything. So for sure, everyone, that's what I believe.
Yeah, if someone says he doesn't have, he's lying.
Yeah.
So
of course, it's so easy to have this kind of shadow parts when it comes to your art and your creativity, and you have, again, a million reasons why not to create right now, or it's not good enough, and blah, 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 blah. But yeah, I think that lately I've noticed that every time this notes only starts to picking up, I'm like directly, I just know it's not the truth. I just know that, like, I'm working on this muscle for a while, but I know it's not the truth. It doesn't mean that I'm gonna keep and it's gonna be the best creation I ever did. No, but I know that the thoughts are telling me it's not good, not necessarily the truth. So yeah, I guess some spiritual practices like meditation, respiration, reading books. Sometimes I go for retreats, just, to be all the time, to be in this exploration state, and
to keep yourself active in the doing, like you say,
exactly,
that's a muscle.
Yeah.
And if you're going to train it, it's going to work. And if you're not going to train it, it's not going to work.
Exactly.
And you said a very profound thing over there, because the moment you truly understand that you are not your thoughts, that now we are going way beyond music, because when you know that identifying with your thoughts eventually, ultimately will get you in a bad spot, because, who am I? Am I the voice that talks in my brain? Okay, but if I'm the voice that talks, who is listening? And if I'm the voice who listens, who talks? So you gotta already know that you're not your thoughts. So the moment you can explain to yourself, okay, I'm doing what I'm doing because I want to do it, not because I expect what is going to come out of it, or because I want to get rich, or because I want to do that, or because I want to do that. And again, it comes back to the understanding of, is it 0 to 100 or 0 to 1, 2, 3, 4? Because maybe your next track will not be the best track you've ever done, but maybe that track will lead you to the next idea that will lead you to the thing that will get you popped off. So you need a lot of patience and a lot of self-trust. And do you remember a time in your life that you didn't know where you're going, but you still trusted the process? Like when times looked not the best and you needed something else and you wanted to escape, but you trusted yourself and you went with it?
Yeah. First of all, I totally agree with what you say. It's interesting and amazing. And yeah, I think it's a lot about patience, as you said, and trust, and be ready to meet the rocks on the way, the obstacles, to be ready to meet the guy that will tell you that your kick is shit. And your track is not, it doesn't sound good, and to be ready and to be open to explore. Like, okay, this guy tells me that my kick is shit. I'm gonna check it. Maybe he's right, but I won't let this like
it's not gonna crush me.
to crush me to get over. So yeah, I think like I'm still in this process, bro, like to get better in the sound, in the electronics. So yeah, I think when I just arrived to KohPhanCast, it was absolutely like unknown for me. Where I'm going, what I'm going to do, who I'm going to speak with, what am I going to tell the producers, which kind of music am I creating. I'm good for ecstatic dance, for trance, main stage party, for down tempo, because I'm doing like, like a journey, some kind of different things, and everything live. So I'm like totally confused in the last 1 year and a half. And I see like this confusion. It's not like one day you're confused, one day. In my case, I see like with, every show, every, another audience, another vibe, another show. And it's like ongoing learning for me. And also every set I'm making is totally different. Like sometimes it's similar, but sometimes it's different. It depends. It's,
and it's
the end of the event.
It's so much different, playing something like, I'm a DJ as well. No problem. But the difference is that I do probably at each set, I do the same kind of music. I have music that is going with the same theme. Doing something like ecstatic, like live instrumental, you take a little bit of the Afro and you take a little bit of the house and you take a little bit of the techno and you take a little bit of the trance, which is, as I see it, a little bit of deeper kind of story, because you're running through the BPMs and you're going through the genres. And before sets like that, do you create an intention for the story, for the, the word completely disappeared from my mind, but for the journey? Do you create an intention before? Do you think about it before sets, or are you going with the flow?
No, I totally created before, like sitting on the computer literally and trying some stuff and saying, okay, from this maybe we're gonna go to this. If I know I'm playing now on a trance stage and I want to bring something more stable. The beat is running, and okay, so I'm like puzzling, because I'm making on Ableton Live. I'm kind of puzzling my music, to a set. So it's also interesting for me, because like I'm finding out cool ways. Like for me to create a set, it's also a little bit kind of creation of I bring creativity. It's not just about mix from one it's about the whole journey. And sometimes I do create some stuff and also practice with my instruments, practice before the shows. Totally.
You have to. Again, in this kind of world, you gotta reinvent yourself on a daily, monthly, yearly basis. Because if you're gonna go again and again with the same set, people are gonna be, I saw Benar 3 years ago, and it's all good.
Especially in Israel, it's small.
What kind of ways do you have to reinvent yourself, to get yourself to the next level? Like, what kind of things are you dealing with right now? Like, what's the next idea? What's the next step of the way?
Wow. It's not so easy.
Not easy at all.
And it's not so easy for me neither. But I think I succeed in some way to do that. And I think what helps me, it's what I just said, to be open to what people say around you, to be open to the body reactions of the audience. Like, okay, I'm trying a new track right now. Okay, I'm 2 weeks on the track every night. making it better. I love this. I think it's the best track I ever made, and now I'm trying it on live. I have to be like, I feel like I have to be real with myself.
Yeah.
You know, I have to be real with myself and to see if the track is actually working.
Yeah.
And if not, why not to take everything so offensive and deeply. Okay, maybe this track I played in other stage, in others, or maybe actually I there is some things I need to renovate or to make it better. Or so it's just about like for me to be able to hear some others' opinions and experiences of my music, and to listen to other artists, to be open to listen to other artists, but really listen, like, you know, to get their story, their inspirations, and not to be afraid to try new stuff.
Usually people that have such a deep connection to music or to anything, like, understand that they have the capacity to love something to this extent. Do you have any more hobbies or passions in your life that you are not equally, you know, you're all about music, but that come close to music? Like, Benar cannot be only about music.
I guess not. But that's not the first time I'm asking myself this question.
Yeah.
Like, I found myself like in the past 10 years, like really so into music.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like, what is my hobbies? It's like the guitar and the piano. Like the sax is the serious, the guitar is the hobby. No, I'm joking. But like music, my life it's pretty much around music. Yeah, I can do also. I can say also that like spirituality. I just love, like, you know, to occupy my mind. It's just it's so interesting for me. So reading books and stuff like that. Of course, I love also to hang out with my friends, to go to the beach, nature. It's amazing. But not like something specific, like hobby that I can mention, you know, like some kind of sport or something. No, it's something more general, like to live life and to always develop my conscious and my mind, and to be curious, and of course also to get rest, to have fun.
And there's so many, you know, connecting points between your journey to music and your journey to spirituality. You know, when you look at them side by side, you know, you fall in both of them on probably a daily basis, and you gain things on a daily basis, and like, you can never truly win the game of getting there, because, okay, of course you're getting better each time, every new track, every new technique you learn, everything, but sometimes it falls without you knowing, because you wake up one morning not feeling so good and you don't even know why, and it just happens, you know? Do you see the connection between not falling, but stepping backwards a little bit in your journey to spirituality, and how it affects your relationship with music?
Yeah, totally. First of all, I'm agree. I see how it goes, like, you know, it goes together. Totally. I do believe, like, on not only music, each person, you know, his spiritual path for sure affects on his life, for sure. So, of course, in music, such a creative and intuitive thing that you want to bring from the heart and from the presence, that all the things that spirituality speaks about, and why I'm so interesting about spirituality, it's at the end to have a better moment. That's it. That's it.
It's all about creating a better now. And
exactly.
Do you remember the time that you discovered the fact that a spiritual way does, like, even exist? You know, like, I can work on that. Am I not just this guy, and things just happen, and then you open this window to your soul and you're like, oh wow, what is this? Do you remember you discovered yourself?
Yeah. It's pretty long story, but I can.
I have all the time in the war, bro. That's why we're here.
No, for me, it's better for me if I make it short. No, I'm joking. I talked about this story one time at one podcast, but I remember like 3 years ago. That was the time I left Tel Aviv. For those who don't know Tel Aviv, it's like, it was
Very high, like volume.
yeah, very high volume. I was in this movie with myself, rock and roll, bro, rock and roll all day long, drugs, girls, women, a lot of shows, not resting, so
Yeah.
I was in this kind of trip for a few years, and then I left Tel Aviv. It was a few years ago, like 3 years ago, maybe a bit more, and I moved to Netanya, to my chill place on the beach. I started to practice yoga every day, to do some meditation every day. I tried this Vipassana retreat, all this, the way of the yoga, it started to open me, and I felt better with this, so I was like into it. So I remember these days was the first beginning of changing like my mindset, like, okay, it's not that I'm a shy person. I feel shy right now.
Yes.
All my life I'm shy. Okay,
Yeah.
this is what I know, but I can literally change that. So yeah, that was the first one, and after that, like I was like maybe 1 year that I felt like in small, like getting better, in my rhythm. And after that, she came, that woman, my ex.
It's always a woman. It's
That's a woman. And thanks to her, like a lot of my spirituality way opened thanks to her, and thanks to them, to everything we experienced in the relationship. And I mean, like some real shadow stuff.
Yeah. Full power.
Full power shadow stuff. So after that, it was like no question for me. It was like I left to South America for a few months, needed this break, and I just started my path. And I was, these days I knew, like I knew I need to heal myself. I knew I want to heal myself, and I knew it's possible. Like I knew that.
Yeah, but you forgot one person to think to. You forgot yourself, bro.
Oh,
Because
for sure.
of course everybody is a mirror and everybody can teach us, but without ourselves wanting to learn the lesson and accepting the fact that we can absorb the lesson will just evaporate in the air. So nothing gets inside of you without your permission. So the one that was actually there for you to learn this was you. And it's not about being arrogant or shy or whatever. Like you say, we are all the full spectrum of what it's like being a human, because you can wake up tomorrow morning and say, fuck it, and I'm doing something else. It's a possibility.
Yeah.
So you just being able to learn to be fluid and just be in the moment like you are doing, you have a big part of it. Every step of the way you were there for yourself.
Yeah. Actually, you're right. I was basically a monk for a year, like maybe a bit more, like nothing, bro. Like no women, no coffee, no drugs, no meat, no. For a year
as well.
I did it like the most cleaning because I had to, because I really hurt myself in that relationship.
Yeah.
Physically, literally. So So thanks to me, you're right. Thanks to me, I took it.
Come on, you took yourself in the hand.
And also, thanks. I didn't punch her. Only myself.
At the end of the day, with all the respect to the people around us that are there for us and love us and no problem. Without our cooperation, nothing will happen, because tomorrow we can get inside a depression or something, stay in bed for 4 months, nobody will ask us anything, and let's go. And the one that is going to get you out of this fucking bed is you. And people tend to think that complimenting themselves is either arrogant or people are going to think something about them, Okay, if you're flattering yourself without any credentials, without doing anything with, okay, no problem. That's one thing. But when a guy like you walks around following his passions, saying, fuck everything that is not what aligned with me. I'm not going to do this for money and I'm not going to do this for money. I'm going to do my art, even if it's going to be the last thing that I've ever going to do. That's the only way you can do things. It's like I when I had the conversation with Diego and Eve, it was like, wow, what a blackout in a second. It was, I cannot, no, it completely evaporated from my brain. I don't know. It completely went out. It is what it is.
It will come.
Yeah. But you just need to understand that the deeper you can get the connection with yourself, and without the flattering that you can give to yourself, other people cannot. Like, finding, let's talk about that. Finding a true, stable, natural, positive relationship these days. People think that they gotta chase the other side and, oh, this person is so good for me because they do that and because they do that. And I think that it's so more, you need to look at yourself and get better inside yourself, because you don't want the person that wants you. You want the person that is looking for themselves. You want to be with a person that is like super into themselves and take care of themselves, because you don't want to be like only someone following you. You want someone to walk next to you.
Yeah.
So you cannot expect someone to walk next to you if you're not walking next to yourself.
You're right. Yeah, totally agree. Yeah.
So me also, as this shy motherfucker, need to tell myself as well, we need to get out there.
Yeah.
We need to be there for ourselves. And like you said at the start, we need to be real with ourselves, because tell me about a lesson that you had in your spiritual way that you thought was fully blissful, but ended up being another layer of your ego,
Interesting. Wow. Interesting. Spiritual lesson that ended up like
being another trap of your ego. I can start, okay?
Yeah, maybe it'll give me inspiration.
Yeah, I started, like, I'm DJing now for 10 years, more or less, ish. And somewhere along the way, I convinced myself that I really like a certain kind of music. So you start going to the parties, you start knowing the people, you start doing the whatever. And then you find yourself after a year or two being like, okay, so the girl I was with liked the music and the people I hanged around liked the music. Was it me? Or was I so into being accepted and being loved in the environment that I found myself in, because my whole life I've been a people pleaser. It's so important for me that everybody around me will be, happy and satisfied. But how many times in my life I forgot myself in the process, and it feels like you kind of know this route yourself.
Yeah, totally. I've been there so hard also, like, the pleasant person. Yes, so basically what you're saying about the music, it's pretty much my experience also. Like, on this sax guy, on this mainstream kind of music, it's never was me. That never was really me, like my passion, but it was so shiny.
Yeah.
It was so shiny and expanding in some way, material way at least, and maybe in some other ways, but
probably
in some other ways, some expanding. And of course, today I can sit here and also see, honestly, how like the whole journey, connects.
Of course.
And of course, everything is for the positive, and I do believe in that. But it was also in the music pleasing, and because I'm there literally on these weddings and this kind of frequency, this kind of vibe that if the bride she's not smiling for a second, or if someone don't dance, you start full power and you go up and up and up, more and more and more. So it's pretty intense, and definitely pleasing. Like, I was pleasing there a lot, and And yeah, you know, it's confusing because you're expanding, and as you said, your socials become better, and you get amazing money, you know, for kind of gig for musician.
But like you said, you still find yourself not satisfied.
Yeah.
How do you differentiate between, like, how do you know you're either making music or doing something because it's trendy or whatever? And how do you know to follow your heart in your music process? Because you need to go to routes that aren't really clear to create something that is your own, you know? So do you tend to look at it and say like, oh no, now I'm going in a route that is kind of mainstream and I want to steer back? Like, what's the thought process in that kind of...
Wow. Yeah, I think it's a nice question. It's a like deep subject, because I'm sure people that create music, and yeah, it's like you create the music, you're not on the pleasant way, right? On the pleasant road, because you create the music, you're artist.
Yeah.
But still there, it can be so tricky because, you know, you want to success. Yeah. Everybody, I create music. I don't want to...
And you gotta feed yourself.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
You gotta feed yourself. You want people to hear your music. You need the feedback, actually. I've that was my ego. I thought like, I started creating music. Like, I didn't know where it's going to be played, which genre, what sound am I trying to get? I didn't work with references. I didn't listen to a lot of other artists from the electronic world. So I'm just like started this creativity flow, and I was like in my ego a little bit, like I'm on my own. This is what I like. I don't care if someone will like it. I'm having fun. That's good.
Feel so safe.
Maybe it's good to start like this after years of creativity blocks. You know, it's good because it's kind of rebel. Frequency. You know, I'm like, wow,
I'm going against the stream. I'm doing what I want.
Just pure your creativity, amazing. But yeah, when you start to perform and you want to be noticed, people will enjoy your music, will have some process with your music. So yeah, basically, it's arrogant to say that don't need any kind of feedback, you know, because we are living here together. If we agree with it or if not, we are living here together. By myself, I couldn't.
Yeah, the lonely wolf method doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's interesting. I think when you create, like, it's so important to stay like loyal to your heart. I'm sure it's not so easy. Like for me, I find it not so easy, but I try to get back there all the time. And when I noticed I'm not there, it's not easy by himself. Like I noticed I'm not there if I'm starting to stress. If I'm freaking out, if I'm like, did you know, like some any negativity thought or emotion about my music, about who am I? So there I'm directly, I have to, because if not, I will just drop everything, you know, and that's happening to amazing artists through the years, you know, kill themselves, kill themselves. So much talent, so much potential to connect to some higher, you know, roots. Wow, amazing. But yeah, so I'm trying to go back home to the heart to remember why am I doing this? Because it's tricky. The ego is tricky.
Your body language is so pure, you know, like the way you squint your eyebrows when you touch your brain, but the more everything flicks when you touch your heart. You know, it was the Egon sentence that said that the mind really has no answers and the heart has no questions. You know, coming back to your heart from your mind, because like you say, when you are in your mind, you will only ask yourself more questions and nothing will be answered. But the moment you know how to go back into your heart, all the answers reveal themselves, because who am I? Who are we without this creativity, without this energy of creation, without connecting to the base of what it's like being a human, like,
Yeah.
and like we say, the whole idea of, I'm gonna succeed by myself and I'm gonna show the whatever this record label that didn't want me, or this DJ that said that my 50 hertz in my kick is too much, or this, like, it's all about accepting yourself to be able to accept others, because we are all part of the same game. And
Wow.
from us breathing the same air, I care what you think, because it's going to show me deeper layer of what I think.
Yeah.
Because when I'm getting triggered from something that you tell me, and I straight away trying to get mad at you, I'm like, but what? You put a thought in my mind, but now the thought is annoying me, not you. So what is annoying is the side of me, not in you.
Yeah.
So why would I, blame you for something that is created within me? And I never, like, been to the other side of like, people are this and that. Like, it was always so inside. Like, I don't even remember the last time I've been angry about someone else, because everything is so in our minds. How do you take your time to, of course, because we're all getting mad sometimes and things like that. In your spiritual path, what is the thought process to calm yourself down from situations that you don't really like?
Wow. Interesting. Yeah, I think like the first situation that just came up right now, that lately it was hard for me to accept, right? Because it's about acceptance.
Yeah.
I'm not present when I'm not accepting what's happening right now. You're saying something I don't like, and then I start in my mind, I'm not here.
Yeah.
So it's about acceptance. So I think the last situation, I found how to accept. It was that Spongel event that canceled. Fuck, man. I was like, I was supposed to warm him up.
Hell of a gig, huh?
I had a hell of a gig just to play in front of him, and then like with my sax, with the dancers, to bring everyone to Spongel.
Yeah.
And also to hear his set, and all my friends came from other islands.
Yeah.
Like people came, it was the whole event. It was so exciting, like my biggest show.
Yeah, of course.
So it was hard to me, and I could notice how every day or every 2 days, like at the beginning, my first reaction. By the way, I went to sound check. With all my things, because nobody from the production answered me. I went to sound check. There I get that the event is canceled, some police problems, I don't know what.
Yeah.
Not my business,
exactly.
but the event was canceled, and my first reaction was like, of course, it was like,
come on.
Yeah, of course, it was sucked, but my first reaction was, go, get some drink. You need this now, roll a spliff.
It's all gonna be all right.
Take the sunset, and I just sit in front of the sunset and created music. That was I don't know. But anyway, every 2 days, every 1 day, I had this feeling, this thought again and again in my mind, like, it could be so nice. And this guy was supposed to be there, and this production, they were supposed to see me, and I was supposed to video the whole,
Yeah.
So every day it was attacking me, and I'm just like getting back like to some kind of spiritual sentence, but I do believe in him. Like, like I can't know better than him. I can't know better even what I need. Like, who knows? Maybe it was like I was going on stage and nothing.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly.
So my I don't know. Something was falling. Something was happening.
Like you said, acceptance, and I will add gratitude. Thank you for the things that I have, but more than it, thank you for the things you didn't give me because it was not mine.
Wow. Wow.
And that's it.
Strong. Yeah.
And Ido Ben Artzi, Benar, I want to thank you so much for being here with me.
Thank you.
Such a lovely conversation. Such a lovely dude.
Also, it's a pleasure.
Always. KohPhanCast, guys. The official podcast of KohPhanCast Island.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Join the journey, stay for a while.